he stepped back and he said, "You're not sick, you're pregnant. And you're not just pregnant, that baby just kicked me."
Really?
At how many months? 6 or 7?
So we didn't know then, but at the time I was 6 months pregnant.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I remember
So
going,
you thought you had kidney problems and liver problems and stomach, but in actual fact you were pregnant.
I was pregnant.
And
So,
nobody figured it out.
well, it was a bit on me. At the very start of the year, I did a pregnancy test, one of those at-home ones,
Right.
and it was said negative.
Right.
So when any time a doctor asked me if I could be pregnant, I just said no.
Yeah.
You know, you're with your parents. You didn't also want to say, "Oh yeah, I'm sleeping around."
Right.
So I just said no because the stick said no. So I wiped that off. I was actually genuinely sick somehow. So yeah, I found out that I was 6 months pregnant.
Wow.
And I remember going back home to mum because I wasn't really living there at the stage. And I walked in. We owned a restaurant and we had a bar. And at the back of the bar is this like dark lounge with leather benches and wood on the walls. And there's my mum sitting in the corner smoking a cigarette with a bottle of Glenfiddich and a glass.
Right.
And she didn't yell or scream or anything.
Had you told her?
No, my stepdad had rang her on the way home, I assume. So she knew, but I hadn't spoken to her. And you know when your parents don't scream at you?
Yeah.
You're really fucked.
Right.
So she sat down and she went, "We'll get through this." And I didn't know what that meant. I'm 16, I'm pregnant. And when you're in the doctors and someone tells you that, I mean, you probably had that when your sentence was read out. Your ears just start ringing, the world closes in, you feel like you're underwater and you don't know how to process anything. So we went on that journey, got to the OB very quickly, did the scans, found out I was having a boy. So this is a real life baby. I only weighed probably about 43 kilos. Jeez. So the doctor said, "You're really undernourished. You have to feed this child. That is your number one thing. I have to put on weight."
Yeah.
I had a completely flat stomach. There's no evidence of it. And I had to go on that journey then. And I was given, at the time, there were 3 options because in Australia we don't do late-term abortions. So I was told briefly if I wanted to be flown overseas, we could go and do it and go and deal with it. That was a very hard no because I felt this guilt of the fact that I hadn't looked after him. So I wasn't actually terminating him at that point when he's kicking me. And then I felt it after. As soon as they said you're pregnant, I was like, that's what that is. That's
Wow.
So then the options then at 16 was become a mum or go down the route of adoption.